This is SSN.
Story Studio Network.
This is the Biz Doctor podcast, and I'm your host, Lauren Goldstein. Welcome back to the show. In today's episode, I want to talk about something that was sparked during a recent conversation I had with a friend who told me that she quote unquote burned down her 7-figure business and walked away because she couldn't do it anymore. I hinted at this episode in our last episode when I went on my soapbox about building a business around your life, not the other way around. So indulge me for a moment to refresh that conversation. I want this to be a moment of permission for you to have whatever business you want to have. Whether it's a lifestyle business or a 7-figure business, there's no cookie cutter perfect business except the one you want to have. So if you're slogging it out, feeling burned out, and asking yourself if it's all worth it, the answer is it's 100% worth it, but you need to be crystal clear on the life your business is creating and fitting into. We were not put on this planet to eat, sleep, work, and die. We are here to make an impact and live. So promise me you'll build a business around your life, not the other way around. Okay, good. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about burnout and how to mitigate that risk, shall we? Now, this might shock you, but sadly, I've seen this happen more times than not with business owners who get burned out and then either unintentionally or intentionally burn down their business. My goal with today's episode is to help you not do that and fight the flames before your business or you goes up in smoke. Let me set the stage. You've built the business, you have the proven product and customer process. You might even have a team, but you feel like you're drowning. Like you spend most of your days putting out fires or chasing your tail instead of doing what you love and are good at, which coincidentally is why you started your business in the first place. So instead of progress in your business, you feel like you're in a hamster wheel of busy. Sound familiar? Well, that's when the thoughts start creeping in. Why am I doing this? Am I ever going to get out from under this business? Do I have the right team? Heck, do I even know what I'm really doing, or am I just faking it? Hello, imposter syndrome. Gosh, I really need a vacation, but I can't actually take one because then the business would stop, or worse, I would be even more behind than when I got back. What if I just quit it all and go live in a cabin in the woods without internet? Or any version of those. Trust me, I have been there and so have my clients. The good news is I know how to stop this spiral. So let's take a peek at 3 simple things you can do to stop the smoldering. The first thing I suggest, like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, use one of your lifelines and phone a friend. This may seem like something too simple, but go with me for a minute. How easy is it to compare your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel? Especially with social media today. How easy is it for you to feel like you are the only entrepreneur or business owner who's struggling like you? How easy is it to get sucked into the darkness because you can't see the light? Pretty easy, huh? That is why this is such a valuable tool to have at your arsenal. So get some perspective and a reminder that you're not alone on this entrepreneurial roller coaster. The benefit to this, beside realizing that you're not alone, is oftentimes all you need is a sounding board or someone to pull you out of the forest so you can see the trees. The bonus to this is that if you have a network that is more successful than you, more often than not, they can support you with some pretty great guidance and insight to help you stop banging your head against the wall. Truly, I cannot stress this enough. This is not the time to go in solo or lock yourself in your office and just figure it out. When you're getting frustrated with your business or starting to resent your clients or even considering burning it all to the ground, honestly, put up a smoke signal, do something, and get out of your office, get out of your head and go talk to somebody, because it really is going to help you get back on track. And I can't remember who said, it was probably Einstein or something, that said, you can't solve a problem with the same thinking that got you into it. So if you're struggling with your business, go talk to a friend. Which also leads me to point number 2. Take a beat and a page out of the SEAL team book where they say slow is fast and fast is smooth. A lot of times when I see my clients, or even myself back in the day, who are on the verge of burning it all to the ground, it came down to one word: overwhelm. This is why this phrase is a soothing balm on the burns of your business and your psyche. In our Western culture, we are awarded for hustling or burning the candle at both ends, for seeing who can sacrifice the most. Ugh. Well, I'm here to tell you that that kind of move fast, pedal to the metal mentality might work for a split second, but it isn't sustainable and it isn't healthy. The only thing it guarantees is burnout, resentment, and toxicity. So when the flames are fast approaching, take a beat, slow down, and recognize that oftentimes the thing you and your business need most is white space and time. Slowing down to think things through helps you actually go fast in the long run. You just have to have a bit more patience and learn the art of delayed gratification. Now, I want to actually share a story with you that will drive this point home. I know these episodes are very digestible and short, and I don't share a lot of behind the scenes, but I'm going to take a minute to peel back the curtain. Let me take you back to 2017. We were having a record-breaking year, hitting our first 40,000 plus months, and it was just on an upward trajectory. So from the outside, we were crushing it, winning awards, happy clients, more than enough free cash in the bank. But on the inside of the business, we were on the verge of explosion. When I say we, I say mostly me. I was not sleeping well. I was burning the candle at both ends, which meant working most weekends. The team was maxed out and stressed out, and things were starting to slip through the cracks. My business and myself was about to catch fire, but I didn't know it until it was too late. I don't know if you've ever been there. There's more to the story, but just a small caveat. As a service provider, I think it's very easy for us to fall in this trap because we're generally the expert delivering the service. So take this story with the warning that it is, so you can make sure that if you start seeing these signs, you can put the flames out before it's too late. I remember I was sitting at my desk at 2 a.m. sobbing. I was exhausted and I was over it. We were growing too fast and I was losing it. So at 2 a.m., I quit. I looked at our client load, and when everyone wrapped up, I said we would never repeat this mistake again. What I didn't realize in this moment, because I didn't take step number 1 and phone a friend before I decided to burn it down, was that this is actually pretty normal for business owners. We all get to a point where something's gotta change. I was just too close to see it. I couldn't see the forest for the trees. And in that moment, I really couldn't do it for myself, what I do for my clients, objectively, without emotions, triage and diagnose so that we had a solid plan to get back to homeostasis. Because let's be honest, a growing, thriving business is what we want. But what I realized in this moment, many moons ago, was that because I was the sole service provider, I was maxed out and we didn't have a contingency plan. So in hindsight, I would have done things much differently. Instead of quitting, I would have phoned a friend, taken a deep breath, and then gotten hyper present to what matters today, which is strategy 3 that I'm going to talk about in a few seconds. The reason I really want to share this story is because I see this roller coaster happen a lot, where we're grinding, we're chief everything officers just to get everything going in the beginning. And then we kind of get stuck in that grind, and then all of a sudden we're wearing too many hats and providing for our clients and. So instead of taking moments to be proactive in our business, instead of reactive, we just keep going. We put our head down and we're like, if I just work more, if I just hire the next team member, if I just, it'll be fine. And while that's kind of true, sure, adding a team member, systems, etc., can make it better. But if you don't address the actual bottleneck and what's causing you to feel so overwhelmed and feel like you want to burn it down, or in my case, you're just so over it because you're so exhausted, then it doesn't matter how many team members or systems you have. Eventually, something's going to break, and that something is probably going to be you. So one of my mentors told me that the only conversation that matters is the one right now. And in this context, what she was speaking about, a conversation that was happening between my ears that was a limiting belief. But this phrase relates to everything because life is now. So again, the reason I share that whole story is to give you the context to lead us into this third point. Tool number 3 on how not to burn down your business is by getting present. See, the funny thing about life is that most often if we have anger, it's because we're looking at the past. When we have anxiety, we're looking at the future. And surprise, the only time we have the ability to affect change and be happy is the present moment. Innovation, change, process, etc., they only happen now. Once this moment passes, it is in the past. Fretting about the future expends valuable time and energy that we can't get back. It's not to say you shouldn't have a plan for your business's future and goals. That is not what I'm saying at all. You definitely should. That is about being a proactive business owner. This is more to say that when the shit hits the fan, focus up and get present, because that is the only thing you can control. So if we go back to the story I shared before about when I quit and literally burned down my business, if I had taken a breath and actually said, okay, what we're doing now is not working, phoned a friend, took that pause, made a proactive plan, I would have seen that there was a very simple, easy way out. But I couldn't see it in the moment because I was so exhausted. This is my perhaps biggest tip, is that when you are overwhelmed and really considering like, why am I doing this? Is it worth it? Any of those phrases that I mentioned at the beginning, get out of your office, get out of your head. Some of my favorite ways to get present are going for a walk, making a cup of tea, sitting on my porch in the sun for 10 minutes. Heck, even a quick power nap or shower. Showers, sometimes my best thoughts come in the shower. And I don't know what it is about just being in the shower that makes all life's troubles kind of wash away, even if it's for those only 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes all we need to get re-present is to step away from the screen. And this also leads me to something that I've alluded to on other episodes, but your business eventually, maybe in this moment, you're like, it needs me for everything, which is my life's goal, to have no business owner I work with ever utter those words again. I want you to have true entrepreneurial freedom. But sometimes what our business needs most is for us to just step away. And sometimes that step away is a day, an hour, a minute, a week. But before you burn it down, take a beat. Take a beat. So to bring us to a close, a gentle reminder that being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. It is a challenging roller coaster of emotions, and you are doing a great job. I wish there was a playbook. Yes, people have read, or rather wrote, books upon books about how to be a successful entrepreneur, but I kind of feel like this must be what it's like to be president. No one can prepare you for it except for when you're actually sitting in the seat and you're like, okay, well, I guess this is how it's going to be. There is also no place on earth that makes your demons and dragons flare up more than entrepreneurship. That is why I lovingly call it personal development with a paycheck. But take heart, it won't always be like this, and you are most definitely not alone. So these burnout flare-ups, if you will, they will come and go. There are days even today where I'm just like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? But when I get present and I take a step back, I realize that there's really nothing else that I would rather be doing in this whole entire world than serving my clients and helping them have true entrepreneurial freedom and making a difference and just having so much fun solving problems with my clients. And here's a little fun thing, because I also do see this happen sometimes too. Sometimes the burning down of businesses doesn't just happen when you're overwhelmed. Sometimes it happens when you're bored and you think, this can't possibly be working because I'm so bored. I have so much white space and things to do. Remember this, when your business gets boring, that is not the right time to mix things up and set it aflame. Celebrate the calm. I was actually at a dinner very recently with an entrepreneur of a very successful multi-seven-figure business in Denver. And he was lamenting to me about how boring it is. And he's thinking about selling or this and that and mixing things up. And I'm a big proponent of not giving unsolicited advice. So I gave him a little smile across the table and I said, would you be open to a different perspective on you being bored in your business? He said, absolutely. And I said, that is actually the perfect place for your business to be. You want it to be boring because that means it's consistent, predictable, it's running like a well-oiled machine, which means that you now have space and time to do whatever the heck you want, whether that's to reinvest in the business, grow the business, Hint, hint, scale the business, take a vacation, start a new business, whatever you want. You want it to be boring. And he actually just sent me an email this morning and said, I've been listening to your podcast and I keep just thinking about the conversation we had and how much that changed my mindset. And now how much I enjoy the white space in my business. And that made my day. So to bring it again, full circle here, you're not alone. So many entrepreneurs have this moment where they seriously consider burning down their business or they're on the verge of burnout. So just pay attention, be gentle with yourself, give yourself grace, and know that this is unfortunately part of the entrepreneurial roller coaster. But what goes down must go up. Laws of physics, right? And in fact, if you're ever feeling alone, send up a flare. I'll be your lifeline. Send me a message anytime at It's Lauren Goldstein, and I will gladly sit with you in the darkness to help you get back to the light. And again, if the flames are approaching your office door, phone a friend, take a beat, and get present. I promise what seems like an emergency or an insurmountable mountain will look a lot different after a walk around the block, a hot shower, some food, or heck, even a good night's sleep. You've got this. Don't forget how amazing and capable you really are, because the world needs your gifts. So that's it for this week's episode. I know this was a bit of a doozy, but I'd love to hear from you, your biggest takeaways. Again, if you need support or a friend, connect with me online, send me a DM, tag me on Instagram at It's Lauren Goldstein or LinkedIn or wherever you hang out on the interwebs. Thanks again for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Biz Doctor podcast. You're probably wondering what your next steps are. So here are some options for you. No matter what, head to the show notes or to my website at goldenkeypartnership.com. That's where you'll find links to do a diagnostic deep dive with me and my team. This deep dive will help us identify what is really holding you and your business back from more profitability, impact, and sustainable growth. After that, register for our next workshop. I host them often, and it's a great way to interact with me in a virtual room and get your questions answered. All of that info is on our website at goldenkeypartnership.com. Finally, if you love the Biz Doctor podcast, I'd be grateful if you share it with your friends and colleagues on social media or give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast.
This is Story Studio Network.